It's 3 a.m., the world is quiet, but in here, in this room lit only by the glow of the screen, your heart is pounding. For the last 72 hours, you've poured everything you have into this. The idea that sparked in the shower, it's the hours of filming, getting it just right. It's the endless meticulous cuts, the color grading, finding that perfect piece of music. This isn't just a video. It's a piece of you, a story you needed to tell, a solution you were excited to share. It's your art, your work, your hope, all compressed into 12 minutes and 43 seconds. And now it's time. Your finger moves, the mouse clicks. Publish. You lean back, a nervous smile on your face. You refresh the page. Nothing yet. You get up, grab a glass of water, come back. You refresh again. 5 views. An hour later, we have views. By morning 23. And you know half of them are you, your mom, and your best friend who you had to beg to watch it. And a familiar, cold feeling begins to creep in. That hollow ache in your chest. The question that echoes in the silence. Why? Why doesn't anyone see it? What am I doing wrong? Am I just not good enough? You feel like you're standing on a stage, screaming your heart out to an empty auditorium? Have you ever felt that? That feeling of screaming into the void? We're all told the same story. You have to please the algorithm. Imagine it as this giant, unknowable machine in the sky. A god of code that we have to make sacrifices to. We obsess over keywords, tags, upload times. We perform these strange rituals, hoping to be chosen. But what if we've been looking in the wrong direction entirely? What if the algorithm isn't a god to be pleased, but a mirror? Perfect, unflinching mirror that doesn't reflect what we want. But what a real, living, breathing human being on the other side of the screen is looking for. What if the secret to being seen wasn't about hacking the machine, but about finally understanding the person? That question, that fundamental shift in perspective, is the entire heart of a book. A book, I believe, isn't just a manual for YouTube, but a guide to connection in the digital age. It's called The YouTube Formula, and its author, Derral Eves, isn't just some theorist. He's a man who has spent decades with his ear to the ground listening. He's worked behind the scenes with the giants of the platform, from Beast to The Chosen, helping generate not millions, but tens of billions of views. But when you read his words, you realize he's not a growth hacker. It's more like a human whisperer. This book isn't a collection of cheap tricks. It felt more like being handed a compass. It recalibrates you. It asks you to stop shouting at the machine and start having a conversation with your audience. It teaches you that the numbers in your analytics aren't just data points. They are the digital footprints of human desire, curiosity, and emotion. I've read dozens of books on this topic, but this one lived with me. It changed the way I see every thumbnail, every title, every first 10 seconds of a video. It made me a better creator because it forced me to become a more empathetic person. And that's the story I want to share with you, not a review, but a journey through its ideas. The book is a roadmap, broken down into a powerful framework. We're going to explore Part 1, The Heart of the Machine. Learning to see the algorithm as a human mirror. Part 2, The Soul of the Content. The anatomy of a video that connects. Crafting titles and thumbnails that speak to the soul. Part 3, The Bond with the Audience. From viewer to subscriber to true community. Part 4, The Ecosystem of Revenue. Building a sustainable career beyond just ads. This isn't just a summary, it's an expedition. So take a deep breath. Let's walk this path together, one chapter at a time. So, we're back in that dark room, alone with our creation, alone with that feeling of screaming into the void. We've been taught to fear the machine, to worship at the altar of an algorithm we can't see, can't touch, and can't understand. We picture it as this colossal, indifferent gatekeeper, a faceless god of code, deciding our fate with a cold, logical flip of a switch, and so we perform our rituals. We stuff our descriptions with keywords until they read like nonsense. We debate upload times like ancient astrologers reading the stars. We spend hours on tags that feel like desperate prayers tossed into the wind. We do all this because we believe we have to please the algorithm. Think if we can just figure out the secret handshake, the magic password, the gates will open, but they don't. And we're left with that same hollow feeling. That same question that haunts every creator, why? This is where our journey truly begins. Here in Part 1, we're not just going to learn a new strategy. We are going to perform a kind of surgery. On our own perspective, we are going to dismantle the myth that holds us captive. We're going to step inside the heart of the machine, find out that it's not a machine at all. Chapter 1. The God in the Machine is a Ghost. Imagine for a moment that you're the CEO of YouTube, not the person, the entity itself, the code. What is your one single overriding goal? What is the one metric that defines your success, your survival, your entire reason for being? It's not to make any single creator famous. It's not to promote art or education or comedy. Those are all just byproducts. Your one true goal is to keep people on the platform for as long as humanly possible. That's it, because when people watch, advertisers pay. And when advertisers pay, the lights stay on. It's a business. A multi-billion-dollar attention business. So if that's your goal, how do you achieve it? How do you decide out of the 500 hours of video uploaded every single minute, which ones to show to a viewer? Do you build a complex AI to judge the quality of a video? To understand irony or cinematic beauty or the nuance of a scientific explanation? No, that would be impossible. It would be inefficient. So you do something much, much smarter. You do something brilliantly simple. You let the humans decide. You build a system that doesn't have its own opinions, a system that doesn't have taste, a system that simply watches the watchers. And this is the first, most profound truth Derral Eves gives us. It's the key that unlocks everything else. He says it so clearly, it can feel almost jarring. The YouTube algorithm does not have an opinion. Let that sink in for a second. The algorithm doesn't like you, it doesn't hate you, it doesn't know you exist. It is not a gatekeeper, it is a follower. It follows the audience. Every time a viewer chooses to click on a video, they cast a vote. Every second they continue to watch, they cast another. When they like, or comment, or share. They are sending up a powerful signal, a flare in the dark. And the algorithm's only job is to see those signals, collect them, and say, it seems humans like this. My mission is to keep people on the platform. If I show this to more humans, like the ones who are already enjoying it, they will likely stay too. The algorithm isn't a god you must please. It is a mirror. A perfect, brutally honest, data-driven mirror that reflects human satisfaction back at the platform. When you fail on YouTube, it's not the algorithm that has rejected you. It's the mirror, showing you that the audience wasn't satisfied. And do you feel that? Do you feel the monumental shift that this one idea creates? The weight is lifted. The fear of the unknown machine, it evaporates. The mystery is gone. All the rituals, the keyword stuffing, the desperate guessing games, they become obsolete. Because you realize your job was never to talk to the machine. Your job was always to talk to the person on the other side of the screen. You are no longer a performer trying to impress a cold, invisible judge. You are a human trying to connect with another human. And the algorithm is just the waiter, taking the food you cook to the person who is most likely to enjoy it. The entire game changes. You stop asking, what does the algorithm want? And you start asking the only question that has ever mattered. What does my viewer want? Chapter 2. The Compass of Truth. For so many of us, especially those of us who think of ourselves as creatives, that last question can be terrifying. What does my viewer want? How are we supposed to know? Are we supposed to be mind readers? We fall back on our own instincts, our own gut feelings. We say things like, I just have a good feeling about this video idea. Or, this is the video I've always wanted to make. We create from a place of passion, and that is beautiful, is necessary, but it is not enough. It's because passion, when it's blind, leads to that 3 a.m. heartbreak we talked about. It leads to pouring your soul into something, only to find that the world didn't feel the same way. And what happens then? We get defensive. We say, well, the audience just doesn't get it. Or worse, they're not smart enough for my content. We create in a vacuum of our own assumptions. That vacuum is where channels go to die. Derral introduces the antidote to this. It's a tool that most creators either ignore completely or look at with fear and confusion. The YouTube Analytics dashboard. I know what that screen looks like. It's a wall of numbers, of graphs, of jargon. It feels cold. It feels like the opposite of art. It feels like getting a grade back from a teacher you don't even like. But Derral asks us to reframe it. To see it not as a report card, but as a conversation. He says data is not the opposite of creativity. Data is the language of your audience. Imagine you're a stand-up comedian on stage. You tell a joke. The room is silent. Is that silence a personal attack? Is the audience wrong? No, it's feedback. It's a piece of pure, unfiltered information. That joke didn't land. Now imagine you tell another joke. The room erupts in laughter. That's also feedback. That's a signal. More of that, please. Your analytics dashboard is that room. It is the most honest, direct, and largest focus group you will ever have in your entire life. And they are giving you feedback 24 hours a day, for free. When you learn to stop seeing the numbers as a judgment and start seeing them as the digital whispers of your audience, everything changes. You are no longer guessing. You are listening. You are no longer creating in a dark room alone. You're co-creating with thousands of people who are telling you, in the clearest language possible, what they connect with, what bores them, what confuses them, and what makes them feel alive. Adopting this data-driven mindset isn't about losing your soul to the numbers. It's about using the numbers to better connect with other souls. It's about developing empathy at scale. It's about finding your true north. Your analytics are not a cage that restricts you. They are a compass that guides you, a compass that points, always, toward viewer satisfaction. The compass has two primary needles. Two numbers that above all others tell you if you're heading in the right direction. Chapter 3. The Promise and the Delivery. Let's leave YouTube for a minute. Imagine you're walking down the street, looking for a place to eat. You see a restaurant. The sign outside is incredible. It's vibrant, the name is clever, and through the window, you see a beautifully designed interior. This is the promise. The sign, the name, the curb appeal. It's all making a powerful promise to you. It's saying, in here, you will have an amazing experience. In here, your hunger will be satisfied. It is worth your time to come inside. This promise is so compelling that you and many others decide to walk through the door. In the world of YouTube, this is your click-through rate, or CTR. It's the percentage of people who, after seeing your videos, sign your thumbnail and title decide to click. It is the measure of how good your promise is. Now, you're inside. You sit down, you order, and the food that arrives is terrible. The service is slow. The meal is a profound disappointment. You take a few bites, and you decide to leave. You pay the bill and walk out, feeling cheated. This is the delivery. You were given a great promise, but the restaurant failed to deliver on it. You will not be coming back. You will not be recommending it to your friends. In the world of YouTube, this is your average view duration, or a VD. It's the measure of how long, on average, people watch your video after they click. It is the measure of how well you delivered on your promise. Now, let's imagine another scenario. Down a side street, there's another restaurant. No fancy sign. You'd barely even notice it. Its promise is weak. Very few people walking by even bother to go inside. Its click-through rate is abysmal. But for the few who do wander in, the food is a revelation. It is the best meal they have ever had. The service is warm and personal. They stay for the entire meal, savoring every last bite. They leave a huge tip. The delivery is perfect. The average view duration is incredible. Now here's the multi-million-dollar question. Which of these two restaurants will be successful in the long run? The answer is neither. The first restaurant is a revolving door of disappointed customers. It lives on hype, but it can't build a loyal following. It's a leaky bucket. The second restaurant is a hidden masterpiece that no one knows exists. It has a world-class product, but it can't get people in the door to try it. This is the central tragedy of 99% of all YouTube channels. They have either a great promise and a poor delivery, or a great delivery and a poor promise. They make thumbnails and titles that are pure clickbait and amazing promise, but the video itself is a letdown. People click, feel betrayed, and leave immediately. The algorithm sees this. It sees the high CTR but the rock-bottom AVD, and it learns. When I show this to people, they get upset and leave. I will stop showing this. Or they make a brilliant, life-changing, incredibly valuable video, but they package it in a boring, uninspired thumbnail and a forgettable title. No one ever clicks to discover the magic inside. The algorithm sees the low CTR and learns. No one is interested in this. I will stop showing this. Success on YouTube is not about CTR, and it's not about a VD. It is about the sacred relationship between the two. Your mission is to create a compelling, powerful, emotional promise with your thumbnail and title, and then to over-deliver on that promise with your content. When the algorithm sees a video with a high CTR, meaning lots of people are interested, and a high AV, meaning those people are staying and are deeply satisfied, has found a golden ticket. It has found a video that achieves its one ultimate goal, keeping people on the platform happy and engaged. And it will take that video and it will serve it to more and more and more people. This isn't a trick. It's the fundamental contract of the platform. Make a great promise and then deliver on it. Everything else follows. Chapter 4, Reading the Heartbeat. So now we understand. We know we need to deliver. We need to keep people watching. We open our analytics, we look at a video, and we see this. The retention graph, the dreaded ski slope. We see that steep drop in the first 30 seconds, where 50% of our viewers just vanished. And then we watch that line slowly, painfully bleed out toward zero. Our first instinct is to feel that familiar sting of rejection, defeat. They just didn't stick around. We close the tab. We try to forget about it. But what if we're reading it all wrong? Derral teaches us to see this graph not as a final grade, but as a diagnostic tool. An EKG for our video's heart. It's not telling us that we failed. It's showing us precisely where we are failing and where we are succeeding. It's a treasure map of clues. Let's become investigators of our own work. Open that graph. Find that big, steep drop at the very beginning. Now go back and watch your video's first 30 seconds with an unflinching, objective eye. Did you start with a long, self-indulgent animated logo? Did you say, "Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel," for 15 seconds before getting to the point? Did you make a promise in your thumbnail that you didn't immediately address in your intro? The graph is telling you. That's where you lost them. The viewers in 2025 have the attention span of a gnat with a smartphone. They gave you their most precious asset, a click hand. You didn't immediately reward them for it, so they left. This isn't a failure. This is a lesson, a priceless one. For your next video, you now know. I must hook them, and hook them fast. I must validate their click in the first 5 seconds. Now look further down the line. Do you see a sudden dip in the middle? What happened there? Go to that timestamp in your video. Did you start telling a boring side story? Did you put up a wall of text on the screen? Did your energy drop? Was the audio suddenly poor? The audience is showing you the exact moment they got bored, the exact moment their finger drifted to the back button. But it's not all bad news. Look closer. Do you see that? Plateau? Or even a little spike? That is pure gold. What happened there? What did you do so right that people actually stopped, and in some cases, even rewound to watch it again? Was it a moment of profound insight? A shocking plot twist? A perfectly timed joke? A piece of cinematic B-roll that was so beautiful it took their breath away? The graph is showing you what your audience loves. It's screaming at you. Do more of this. This is how you get better. Not by guessing, not by hoping, but by performing this kind of video autopsy. By looking at the data not with your ego, but with the curiosity of a scientist. By seeing every dip as a clue and every spike as a confirmation. You watch your video back with the retention graph as your guide, and you transform from a hurt artist into an empowered editor. You learn, with pinpoint accuracy, how to craft your next video to be tighter, more engaging, and more emotionally resonant than the last. You learn to read the heartbeat of your own creation. And so, this is where part 1 leaves us. We have stepped out of the darkness of myth and into the light of clarity. We thought we were at the mercy of a cold, indifferent God, but we've learned it's just a mirror, reflecting the humanity of our audience. We thought data was the enemy of art, but we've learned it's the language of connection, a compass that guides us toward what people truly need. We thought a failed video was just a dead end, but we've learned it's a roadmap, filled with clues on how to succeed the next time. The fear is gone. The confusion is gone. We now have the foundation. We have the perspective. We know how YouTube thinks, because we know it thinks like a human. We know how to listen. But this is only the beginning of our journey, because now that we know how to listen to our audience, it is time to learn what to say. It's time to move from the analytics and into the art. It's time to build the thing that the audience actually connects with. It's time to talk about the content. We have found our compass. We've learned to read the whispers of the audience in the cold, hard lines of a graph. We have dismantled the myth of the algorithm god and replaced it with the reality of a human mirror. We are no longer lost in the woods. We have a direction. We have a true north. Viewer satisfaction. God. But a compass only tells you which way to go. It doesn't walk the path for you. And now we stand at the start of that path. We face a new kind of void. Not the void of being unheard, but the void of the blank page, empty timeline, the blinking cursor. It's the creator's oldest and most intimidating question. A question that has haunted every painter, every writer, every musician. Every single one of us who has ever dared to make something from nothing. What do I create, and how? This is part 2. We are moving from the science of listening to the art of speaking. We are going to learn how to build the very thing our audience is looking for. We're not just building a video. We're learning to craft a soul. Chapter 5. The Myth of the Muse. We have this romantic idea of how creativity works. We call it the Muse. We imagine inspiration as a bolt of lightning from the heavens, an idea that arrives fully formed in a moment of sudden, divine clarity. We believe we must wait for it, be patient, be open. And so we wait. We wait for that perfect idea, the one that feels like us, the one we are passionate about. And when it finally strikes, we rush to our cameras filled with a fiery energy. We pour our soul into it, we edit for days, we craft it with love, and we post it, and we get 23 views. And we are right back to that 3 a.m. heartbreak. Why? Our passion was real. The idea felt brilliant. What went wrong? The truth is, your passion is not enough. Let me say that again. Your passion alone is not enough. Because you can be passionately in love with an idea that absolutely no one else is looking for. You can build the world's most beautiful, intricate, and masterfully crafted birdhouse. In a world where no one owns birds, this is the creator's bias. We are so trapped inside our own heads, so in love with our own ideas, that we forget to ask the most fundamental question. Does anyone else care? Derral Eves gives us a powerful antidote to this. He tells us to stop waiting for the muse. He tells us to stop relying on random flashes of inspiration. He tells us to build a machine, an idea-generating machine. An idea machine isn't a cold robotic process. It's a system for developing empathy. It's a disciplined practice of looking outside of yourself instead of just looking in. It begins with a simple shift. There are 2 primary types of content on YouTube, and understanding the difference is everything. First, there is search-based content. Imagine you're a librarian. People come to you every single day with a problem. How do I fix a leaky faucet? What's the best way to invest my first $1,000? I need a healthy recipe for dinner tonight. They have a known problem, and they are actively searching for a solution. Your job as a creator of search-based content is to be the best librarian in the world. To listen to the questions people are already asking, and to provide the clearest, most helpful, most satisfying answer. How do you find these questions? You use the machine. You type phrases into the YouTube search bar and see what auto-completes. You use free tools like Google Trends. You go to forums like Reddit or Quora and see the exact language people use when they describe their pain points. You stop guessing what people want and you start listening to what they are literally typing into a search box, begging for help with. But there's another kind of content, a kind that is arguably more powerful. Discovery-based content. This is the content you didn't know you needed, but that you're so glad you found. This isn't the librarian. This is the movie director, the storyteller, the artist. No one wakes up in the morning and searches for a video about a man who builds a swimming pool in the jungle with his bare hands. No one is searching for that. But when YouTube puts it on their homepage, and the thumbnail is a vibrant image of a mud hut next to a crystal blue pool, and the title is simply, "I built a secret underground house and swimming pool," you can't help but click. You've discovered something. Discovery-based ideas don't come from search bars. They come from human psychology. They tap into our deepest, most primal curiosities. What if? Why? How is that even possible? They come from taking two unrelated ideas and smashing them together. Come from taking a normal thing and doing it at an extreme scale. They come from telling a story with stakes, with emotion, with a mystery that the viewer desperately wants to see solved. A successful channel rarely relies on just one of these. It dances between them. You use search-based content to be found, to solve problems, to build trust and authority. You answer the question, how do I fix my faucet? So well that people start to see you as the go-to expert. Then, you use discovery-based content to build a legend. You make a video titled, I built a fully functional house using only leaky faucet parts. You see the difference? One serves a need. The other sparks a desire. When you stop waiting for the muse and start systematically exploring these two paths, you will never run out of ideas again. You will move from being a hopeful artist to a professional creator. You will build not what you think people want, but what the data and human nature itself proves they are hungry for. Chapter 6. The Anatomy of Connection. So, you have the idea. An idea born not of whim, but of empathy and research. Now what? Most creators take that idea, turn on the camera, and they just talk. They dump the information. They tell the story as it occurs to them. It's a stream of consciousness. And the result is what we saw in part 1, that steep, painful ski slope on the retention graph. Because information is not the same as communication. A pile of gears is not a watch. A pile of bricks is not a house. And a collection of facts and clips is not a video that connects. A great video, a video that holds attention from the first second to the last, is not an accident. It is an act of architecture. It has a hidden skeleton, a structure. And Derral breaks down this structure so simply, yet so profoundly, it will change the way you see every movie, every commercial, every story you ever consume again. It is a journey with 3 core movements. First, there is the hook. We've talked about the promise, the thumbnail, and title. The hook is the first 5 to 15 seconds of your video. Its only job is to prove to the viewer that their click was a brilliant decision. It must validate their choice instantly. Imagine you're at a loud party. You want to tell your friend a story. You don't start with, so, the other day, on Tuesday I think it was, I was wearing my blue shirt. No, they'll walk away. You lean in, and you whisper, you are not going to believe what happened to me at the bank. That's a hook. You have to open with the most dramatic part of the story. You have to state the core conflict. You have to show the incredible end result. You have to ask a question that the viewer's brain feels physically compelled to answer. Your hook must make a promise. If you stick with me for the next 10 minutes, I will give you something of incredible value. I will show you something you've never seen. I will solve the mystery I just presented. Once you have them hooked, you move into the second and longest phase of the journey. This is the core content, the meat of the video. And this is where most creators lose their way. They've hooked the viewer, and now they just start dumping the information. But a great storyteller knows that the human brain doesn't stay engaged by a steady stream of facts. It stays engaged by tension and release, by questions and answers. This is the magic of open loops. A loop is a question, a mystery, a piece of foreshadowing. You open a loop in the viewer's mind, and their brain craves for it to be closed. That's why you can't stop watching a Christopher Nolan movie. Opens a dozen loops in the first 10 minutes, and you have to stay to see them all resolved. You do this in your videos. In the hook, you might say, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest mistakes you're making with your money. And the third one is something that 99% of people think is actually a good idea. You've just opened a powerful loop. The viewer will now sit through mistake number 1 and mistake number 2, waiting, 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 to find out what number 3 is. You can do this with stories. That's when I got the phone call that would change everything. But before I tell you what it was, let me show you what led up to that moment. You can do it visually. You show a stunning final product at the beginning of a build video, and the entire video is the closing of the loop. How did they do that? Your core content should be a dance of these open loops. A constant rhythm of setting up small mysteries and paying them off, all while building toward the resolution of the main promise you made in the hook. This is how you turn a 15% retention rate into a 60% retention rate. You stop being a lecturer. You become a guide on a treasure hunt. Finally, after you've taken them on this journey, after you have delivered on your promise and closed all the loops, you reach the final movement, the landing. or the call to action. Most people think this is just the part where you say, like and subscribe, and they're missing the entire point. A viewer who has just stayed with you for 10, 15, 20 minutes is in a unique emotional state. You have built trust. You have built energy. You have provided value. They are leaning in. The landing is not the time to be a needy beggar. Please subscribe. It's the time to be a confident leader, to give that energy a place to go. The call to action should be the logical, emotional next step of the journey you just took them on. If you just taught them how to bake a cake, the call to action isn't just subscribe. It's, now that you know how to bake this, you need to see my video on the 5 frosting techniques that will blow your mind. Click here to watch it now. You are not asking for a favor. You are offering them the next chapter of their adventure. This structure, the hook, the core content, the landing is the invisible architecture of every successful video ever made. It is not a formula that restricts creativity. It is a framework that makes creativity effective. It's the difference between a pile of bricks and a cathedral. Chapter 7 and 8. The Irresistible Promise. We have built our cathedral. The idea is sound. Structure is perfect. The content inside is life-changing. But our cathedral is currently sitting in the middle of a billion other cathedrals, in the noisiest city in the history of the world. And a person's thumb is scrolling past it at 100 miles an hour. How do we get them to stop? How do we get them to even look in our direction? We now arrive at the most critical, most high-stakes, most misunderstood part of the entire YouTube process. The packaging. The sign on the front of the cathedral. Your thumbnail and title. This is not the last step in your process. This is not something you slap on at the end, Derral argues, and I have come to believe this with every fiber of my being, that this should be one of the first things you think about. Because if you cannot craft a compelling promise, the quality of your video behind it is irrelevant. Think of your thumbnail and title as a 1-2 punch, a perfect partnership. They have different jobs, but they work as a team. The job of the thumbnail is to do one thing: convey emotion. It is a silent, visual story. It must pass what's called the glance test. If you saw your thumbnail, tiny on a phone, from across the room, could you understand the core emotion of the video? Is it shock, joy, curiosity, awe? The fastest way to convey emotion is with a human face. Our brains are hardwired over millions of years to read faces. A shot of a person with a look of genuine shock on their face is infinitely more powerful than a picture of the thing they're shocked about. Your thumbnail must be clear. It must be simple. One central idea. High contrast colors that pop. Shouldn't be cluttered with text. It's not an instruction manual. It is a movie poster. It asks a question. It creates a mystery. It sets an emotional tone. Then comes the title. If the thumbnail's job is to convey emotion and ask a question, the title's job is to provide context and intrigue. It's the logical hook that works with the emotional hook of the image. Let's say your thumbnail is a picture of your face, looking utterly amazed, staring at a dirty old penny. The emotion is awe. The visual question is, why is he so amazed by a penny? A bad title would be, My Coin Collection Video. Boring. No context. A good title would be, I found a penny worth $1.7 million. You see the partnership? The thumbnail creates the emotional what. The title provides the logical, oh, that's why. Your title needs to be either incredibly useful or incredibly curious. It must speak directly to the viewer's self-interest. What's in it for them? Will they learn something, be entertained, be inspired? When your thumbnail and title work in perfect harmony, they create an irresistible promise. They stop the scroll, create a powerful magnetic pull that makes clicking feel not like a choice, but a necessity. You must become a student of this, an obsessive. Before you ever hit record, you should brainstorm 50 titles. You should sketch out 10 thumbnail ideas, because this single decision will have more impact on your video's success than the camera you use, the music you choose, or the font on your graphics. It is the front door to everything you have built. Most people leave it locked. And so, this is the soul of the content. It is a beautiful, interconnected system. A perfect loop. It begins not with a selfish passion, but with an empathetic idea that you know people are looking for. That idea then informs the perfect promise, a thumbnail that radiates emotion and a title that sparks intrigue. That promise is then immediately validated by a powerful hook that grabs the viewer and refuses to let go. That hook leads them on a carefully structured journey of open loops and delivered value, respecting their time and intelligence every step of the way. And that journey concludes with a satisfying landing, giving the viewer a clear next step and honoring the trust they've placed in you. Do you see it? It's not a checklist of random tactics. It's a single, flowing, holistic act of communication. One part bleeds into the next. When you master this, you stop just making videos. You become an architect of attention, a storyteller, a creator who doesn't just upload content, but who builds experiences. We now know how to build the perfect video, a video that can capture a stranger's attention and hold it. But a channel cannot be built on strangers alone. A single great video can get you views, but it cannot, by itself, get you a community. How do we turn a one-time viewer into a loyal subscriber? How do we turn a subscriber into a true fan? How do we build a tribe? That is the next step of our journey. We have done it. We followed the blueprint. We built our cathedral. The idea was rooted in empathy. The promise was irresistible. Structure was flawless. A perfect journey of hook, content, and landing. And it worked. The mirror of the algorithm saw the perfect reflection of human satisfaction, and it showed your creation to the world. For a week, you were living the dream. The views poured in, the comments flooded your inbox. The subscriber count soared. You felt like you'd finally solved the puzzle. You'd cracked the code. And then, it's time to post your next video. You pour the same love, the same care, the same structural genius into it. You hit publish, your heart full of confidence. And you wait, and the tidal wave you were expecting is a trickle, 1,000 views. Then 2, the momentum is gone. The magic has vanished. You look at your subscriber count. It says 10,000, 100,000. And yet, only a fraction of them showed up for you. And a new, more confusing, and perhaps more painful question emerges. It's not, why don't they see me? It's, why don't they stay? This is the great hollow victory of the one-hit wonder. You had 1 million people visit your cathedral. They admired the architecture, took a few photos, and then they left, continuing on their journey, likely never to return. You didn't build a home. You built a tourist attraction. You have views, but you do not have an audience. This is part 3. This is where we learn the difference. This is where we move from building moments to building a movement. We are going to learn how to turn strangers into neighbors and neighbors into family. We are going to learn how to build the bond. Chapter 10. The 3 pillars of a home. Imagine your YouTube channel is not a series of disconnected videos, but a city that you are building from the ground up. The one-hit wonder creator builds a single magnificent football stadium. They host the Super Bowl. 1 million people come for the big game. It's glorious. And the next day, it's a ghost town. Because a stadium is not a city. A city needs houses. It needs shops. It needs roads. It needs a reason for people to live there, not just visit. Derral Eves presents one of the most powerful strategic frameworks for YouTube and for any content platform ever devised. He calls it the Hero Hub, Help Strategy. But I want you to think of it as the blueprint for our city. The 3 essential pillars that turn an empty plot of land into a thriving metropolis. First, you lay the foundation. This is help content. Imagine a driver stranded on the side of a vast, lonely highway, which we'll call the internet. Their tire is flat, they're stressed, they're desperate, and they pull out their phone and search how to change a flat tire. Your video is the friendly mechanic who pulls up for free, and not only shows them exactly how to change the tire, but does it with a calm, reassuring voice. You solve their immediate, painful problem. What does that person feel toward you in that moment? Gratitude, trust. Help content is search-driven. How to? What is? The best way to. It's the foundational layer of your city. It's the roads, the plumbing, the electricity. It's not flashy, but it's essential. It's how people who have a problem find their way to your city for the first time. You are building a library of solutions, becoming a trusted resource. You are laying the groundwork of your authority. Once people are in your city, you can't just keep showing them how to fix flat tires. They'll already trust you. Now, they need a reason to stay, to put down roots. This is the second pillar. This is hub content. Think of hub content as the weekly farmers market in the town square, or the local TV show that everyone gathers to watch on Tuesday nights. It's for the residents. It's designed to serve the people who have already decided to be there. Hub content is consistent. It's reliable. It's a series. It might be a weekly vlog, a podcast, an interview series, a regular deep dive. It's the content that allows your personality to shine through. It's where you deepen the relationship. This is not designed to be found by strangers. This is designed to be loved by your subscribers. You are no longer the helpful mechanic. You are the trusted mayor, the friendly neighbor. You are building the rhythm of the city, giving people a reason to check in, to feel like they are part of something ongoing. This is how you turn a grateful visitor into a loyal resident. Your city is growing. It has a foundation of trust and a thriving community. Now, it's time to get the world's attention. This is the third pillar. This is hero content. Hero content is your Super Bowl. It's your blockbuster movie. It's your once-a-year, massive, high-effort, high-budget event. It is not designed for search. It is designed for discovery. It's a collaboration with a huge creator. It's a documentary you spent 6 months on. It's a viral challenge. Its purpose is to be so grand, so ambitious, so emotionally resonant that it puts your city on the map. It's the giant sign on the highway that makes millions of new drivers say, "Whoa, what is that? I have to go see it." And when those millions of tourists arrive to see the spectacle, what do they find? They don't find a ghost town. They find a fully functioning city. They find the helpful library of solutions. They find the warm, welcoming town square. Many of them, drawn in by the hero event, will be so charmed by the city itself that they will decide to stay. Do you see the symphony? Help content brings them in through the side door of trust. Hub content makes them fall in love with the neighborhood. Hero content brings them in through the front door of spectacle. A channel that only makes help content is a useful but boring library. A channel that only makes hub content is a private club that never grows. A channel that only makes hero content is a series of one-hit wonders with no lasting community. But a channel that strategically weaves all three together. That is how you build a city that lasts. Chapter 11, The Invisible Thread of Belonging. We have the blueprint for our city. But a city is more than just buildings and roads. A city has a culture, a soul, a feeling. You can have millions of residents, but if they don't feel connected to one another, you don't have a community. You have a crowd. It's the most successful channels on earth understand a secret that has nothing to do with video production. It's a secret about human nature that is 10,000 years old. People are not just looking for information or entertainment. They are desperately, deeply looking for a place to belong. We are a tribal species. We need to be part of a we. We need to gather around a digital campfire to share stories, to feel seen, understood, and connected to others like us. Your job as a community builder is not just to be the mayor of the city, it's to be the chief of the tribe. And a tribe is forged from invisible, powerful threads. First, a tribe needs a shared identity. It's the answer to the question, who are we? It's a flag to rally around. It's not just people who watch my videos. It's something deeper. Are you a tribe of aspiring filmmakers who believe story is more important than gear? Are you a tribe of busy parents trying to find mindful moments in a chaotic world? Are you a tribe of misfits who love bad 80s horror movies? You must define and constantly reinforce what it means to be a part of your world. When someone feels, yes, that's me. These are my people. They are no longer just a viewer. They are a member. Next, a tribe has a shared language. This is the magic of the inside joke. It's the specific terms, nicknames, and phrases that only members of the tribe understand. It's the secret handshake. When a new person comes to your comments and sees a language they don't understand, they feel like an outsider. But when they watch a few more videos and they finally get the joke, the feeling is euphoric. It's a click of initiation. I'm in. I'm part of the group. This shared language builds a powerful, invisible wall. Not to keep people out, but to make those on the inside feel special, protected, known. And finally, a tribe is built on shared rituals. Rituals are the consistent, repeated actions that give a community its rhythm. It's the way you always start your video. It's the unique way you sign off. It's the name you call your community. Hey, Dream Team, or What's Up, Legion. It's the weekly live stream where everyone gathers at the same time. These rituals create a sense of predictability and comfort in a chaotic world. They are the traditions that members come to expect and cherish. They are the heartbeat of the tribe. When you weave together a shared identity, a shared language, and shared rituals, you are no longer just making content. You are building a culture. You are satisfying one of the deepest needs of the human heart. And the bond that this creates is infinitely more powerful than the bond created by a single, useful video. It's a bond that can withstand a bad upload. It's a bond that forgives mistakes. It's a bond that lasts. Chapter 13 and 14. The Art of Tending the Garden. So we have the city and we have the soul. But a city can fall into disrepair. A tribe can drift apart. A community is not a machine that you build once and then it runs forever. A community is a garden. It requires a gardener. That gardener is you. And the work of a gardener is patient, constant, and done by hand. This is the part of the work that you cannot automate. You cannot scale it. You cannot hack it. And that is precisely why it is so powerful. In a world drowning in AI-generated comments and automated responses, a single, genuine human interaction is worth more than gold. Derral shows us that the real work of community building happens after you hit publish. It happens in the comments. For most creators, the comment section is either a place to be feared, a pit of trolls, or a chore to be ignored. For a community builder, it is the soil of your garden. It is the single most valuable source of feedback, connection, and future content ideas you will ever have. Your job is to put on your gardener's gloves and get your hands dirty. First, you listen to the soil. This means reading your comments. All of them, especially in the beginning. What questions are they asking? What are they confused about? What jokes are they making? What stories are they sharing? They are telling you, in plain language, what they need from you next. Your next 10 video ideas are probably hiding in your last video's comment section. Next, you water the plants. This means replying. Not with a generic thanks. Reply with a question. Reply with a personal thought. Use their name. Acknowledge their contribution. That one-on-one interaction can turn a casual viewer into a lifelong fan. They didn't just get a response from a creator. They had a conversation with a person. Finally, you highlight the flowers. YouTube gives you tools for this. The heart button is a simple, powerful acknowledgement. It says, I see you, and I appreciate you. Pinning a comment is even more powerful. You are elevating one person's voice for the entire community to see. You're saying, this comment right here, this is what our community is all about. You are rewarding the exact kind of interaction you want to see more of, and the rest of the garden takes notice and learns. This is not a task you outsource. This is the work. This is the act of showing up for the people who show up for you. It is the slow, patient, unscalable art of giving a damn. And it is the most powerful retention strategy on the planet. And this is the bond. It's the transformation from a series of transactions into a network of relationships. It's the realization that you are not just building a channel, you are building a home, a city, a tribe, a garden. You've moved beyond the desperate hunt for views and into the meaningful work of serving a community. You no longer feel the hollow emptiness of a one-hit wonder, but the deep, resonant fulfillment of a leader who has created a place where people feel they belong. The metrics in your analytics no longer feel like a grade. They feel like a census, a measure of the lives you have touched, a measure of the trust you have earned. And that trust, that deep, authentic bond you have so patiently and carefully built, is the single most valuable asset you will ever own. It is the true, unshakable foundation. But it is upon that foundation that you can finally, sustainably, and ethically build a career. Which brings us to our final, and perhaps most anticipated, destination. We stand at the center of our city. It is alive. It has a foundation of trust, a culture of belonging, and a vibrant community of people who feel seen, heard, and connected. We are no longer the lonely creator screaming into the void. We are the gardener, the architect, the chief. We have built a home for others. And yet, many of us are still struggling to build a home for ourselves. We live with a romantic and deeply dangerous lie, the myth of the starving artist. We believe that art and commerce are enemies, that to make money from our creation is to stain its purity. So we become dependent on a single fragile lifeline: YouTube's ad revenue. We check it obsessively. We live and die by the CPM of the month. Our financial security is tied directly to the whims of advertisers and the volatility of an algorithm we do not control. We have built a thriving city, but we, the founder, are living on donations. And the fear that keeps us trapped here is a powerful one: the fear of selling out. We've spent so much time building this precious, authentic bond with our audience, and we are terrified that the moment we ask for a sale, that trust will shatter into a million pieces. This is the final and most crucial reframing of our entire journey. Derral Eves teaches us that we have it backwards. The bond we have built is not a fragile thing to be protected from commerce. The bond, the trust, is the asset. And true monetization is not about extracting value from your audience. It is about finding new, deeper ways to provide value to them. It's time to stop thinking like a starving artist and start thinking like a founder. Chapters 15 to 18, The Trust Economy. An economy is not an evil thing. An economy is simply a system of value exchange that allows a city to sustain itself and grow. Your YouTube channel needs an economy, but it must be an economy built on the currency you have already earned in abundance: trust. Let's look at the different layers of this new economy from the ground up. The ground floor, of course, is AdSense. The ad revenue. This is the city tax. It's a platform pays you a small fee for bringing all these wonderful people to their site. It's the foundation. It's important, but it is passive and it is unpredictable. You should never ever build your house on this foundation alone. It is the floor, not the ceiling, so we must build higher. The next level is brand partnerships and sponsorships. This is where the fear of selling out screams the loudest. But we must reframe it. Imagine your best friend is looking for a new camera. You've spent years researching cameras. You found one that you genuinely love, that has changed your own work. You tell your friend about it with passion and honesty. Did you sell out to your friend? No. You served them. You used your expertise to guide them. This is the only ethical way to approach a sponsorship. You are not a billboard for hire. You are a trusted curator for your tribe. Your job is not to push a product. Your job is to vet 100 products. Find the one or two that are truly great and that you would use yourself, and then introduce them to your community as a genuine recommendation. The audience's trust is infinitely more valuable than any single brand deal. If you protect that trust above all else, the audience won't see it as an ad. They'll see it as a valuable tip from a leader they respect. You are not selling out. You are filtering the noise for them. As you build, you can diversify. You can add affiliate revenue. This is a more passive form of curation. It's putting a list in your description of the gear you use, the books you read, the tools you recommend. It's saying, this is what I use to build our city. If you want to use it too, here's a link. It's not a hard sell. It's an act of transparency and helpfulness that generates a small, steady stream of income. But all of these methods, AdSense, sponsorships, affiliates, they all have one thing in common. You are still fundamentally selling someone else's product. The final stage of this journey, the moment you graduate from creator to founders, when you decide to build your own, this is where you build your own house, on your own land. This is your products, your services. Think about your audience. You have spent years listening to them in the comments. You know their deepest struggles, their biggest obstacles, their most passionate dreams. You understand them better than any corporation ever could. What can you build specifically for them that would serve them at the highest possible level? Perhaps it's merchandise. But not just a t-shirt with your logo. A t-shirt with the tribe's inside joke on it. The shared language. It's not a piece of apparel. It's the tribe's jersey. It's a symbol of belonging. Perhaps it's a digital product. It's an ebook, a set of presets. It's a template that solves the exact problem you see them wrestling with, over and over again. Or maybe it's the ultimate act of service. A course, a workshop, a coaching program. You take the transformation that you offer for free in your videos, and you create a structured, premium, step-by-step path for those who want to go deeper and get results faster. You are building the university in your city. When you create your own product, you complete the circle. The value exchange is direct. There is no middleman. There is only you and the community you serve. And a product born directly from the trust and understanding you have built together. This is the ecosystem. It's not one stream of revenue. It is a web of value exchange. Some streams are big, some are small. Some are active, some are passive. But together, they create a strong, resilient, diversified economy. And suddenly, you are free. You are no longer a slave to the monthly AdSense report. You are no longer terrified of a single video underperforming. You are no longer just a YouTuber. You're the founder of a modern media company with a loyal audience, a trusted brand, and multiple streams of revenue built on an unshakable foundation of authentic connection. You have turned your passion into a profession, your art into a sustainable career. Our journey is complete. It began with a single, lonely creator, screaming into the void, trying to please a machine they couldn't understand. Through this formula, we learned the machine was just a mirror. We learned to listen to the data, to see the human heart beating within the numbers. We learned to build not just videos, but experiences, cathedrals of content built on a flawless architecture of connection. We learned to build not just an audience, but a community, a city, a tribe forged with the invisible threads of belonging. And finally, we learned to build not just a channel, but an ecosystem, sustainable, ethical, and resilient business that honors the trust we have so carefully earned. The YouTube formula is not a magic trick. It is not a shortcut. It is a path away from guessing and toward knowing, away from fear and toward confidence, away from being a starving artist and toward becoming a sovereign founder. It is a path that is available to anyone with the courage to serve, the patience to build, and the wisdom to listen. The void is no longer empty. It is full of possibility. Now it is time to begin. And so, here we are, at the end of the formula. We've walked a long road together, from that lonely 3 a.m. upload, through the heart of the machine, to the soul of our content. We learned to build a cathedral, then a city, then a thriving garden. But as I lived with these ideas, and as I prepared to share this story with you, I had a realization, thought that settled so deep in my bones, I can't unthink it. This was never really about YouTube. It can't be, because the problem it solves is too old, too human. Think about it. That feeling of screaming into the void, feeling unseen, unheard, misunderstood, that is not a creator's problem. That is the human problem. The loneliness of that 3 a.m. upload is the same loneliness you feel when you try to explain your heart to someone, and they just stare back blankly. The frustration of a flatlining retention graph is the same frustration of telling a story to a friend who is just scrolling on their phone, waiting for their turn to speak. We have all been on both sides of that equation. We've all been the creator whose delivery failed. And we have all been the audience who clicked away because our attention wasn't earned. This book, this formula, it dresses itself in the language of analytics, of CTR and AVD, of Hero Hub and Help. But the truth underneath it all is much simpler. It's a formula for empathy. It's a manual for the disciplined, sacred practice of getting out of your own head and into the heart of another human being. It's about replacing the question, what do I want to say? The infinitely more powerful question, what do you need to hear? It asks us to stop admiring our own reflection and instead hold up a mirror to serve someone else. And that changes everything. Not just how you make videos, but how you live, how you work, how you love. That deep, burning desire in you, the one that made you click on this video, the one that makes you want to create, to build, to share something of yourself with the world. Let me tell you what that is. It is not a desire for fame or for subscribers, or for money. Those are just shadows on the wall. The real desire, the source of it all, is the desire to matter, to connect, to know that the unique experiences and lessons of your one precious life might serve as a light for someone else walking in the dark, to know that you are not alone, and to help someone else feel less alone, too. That is the work. It is the holiest work there is, and it is worth every late night, every failed experiment, every single moment of doubt. This whole journey has been a conversation about signals, about listening, about turning data into human connection. And that conversation doesn't have to end here. If this story, if this journey we took together sent a signal that resonated with you, there's a simple, quiet way to send a signal back. That little thumbs up isn't just a metric. It's a flare in the dark. It's the data that says, I felt that. In this community we've talked so much about building, it begins here in the comments. That is our town square, our digital campfire. I have one question for you, and I will read every response. What is the one idea from this journey that you will carry with you, not just into your content, but into your life? Finally, I'm going to keep this fire going, exploring these ideas of connection, creativity, and living a meaningful life in a noisy world. If that's a conversation you want to be a part of. If you want to be a resident of this city we're building together, then consider subscribing. It's not a plea for a number. It's an open door to the next chapter. Go build your cathedral. But more than that, go find someone who feels like they're in the void. Start by listening.